Okay. I stopped staring at your phone. We're talking. The camera is on Bolu. You are looking at phone.
Yes, ma'am.
So how are we? How are we dealing with this cash crunch? Is that what they call it?
Yes, cash crunch, uh, cashless that is not working. I don't know. Call it whatever you want to call it, but it has been difficult for a lot of people. It has been a little bit easier here in Lagos,
We're finding
where I am.
ways to cope.
Yes, we are finding ways to cope. I mean, if Nigerians are known for anything, it's
Feel like you don't cope now.
it's always survive despite whatever is going on. But some people are adapting faster than others. I went out recently and I discovered that some market women were they will just, once you get there, they just hand you their paper that has the account number and everything straight up, make your transfer. They take your name, phone numbers, but it has not been the same in some other places in the country. Where I guess it's the level of people that are banked. I think
maybe not necessarily. Maybe it's the banking infrastructure that is available.
probably.
Remember that in that podcast when you talked about number of banks in Nigeria, like 4,000 and like 1,000, over 1,000 of them are concentrated in Lagos. You guess so. The many 36 states have to share the remaining. So I think it's the number of banking infrastructure that is available in those places, and it's been really hard in those places
really
outside
difficult.
Lagos. It's been terrible. I hope this ends soon or something just gets better. Something has to get better.
Yeah.
I
have
get
no hopes for
nervous
that.
when I feel like my cash is, the little cash that I have is reducing. I can't even get finger food the way I do before. But well, I'm saving money. Talking about cash crunch, people are finding ways to adapt, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And then we heard news about something with eNaira, about a redesign. I've never used the only one you're redesigning. The only one's there.
All right, so I guess the eNaira the CBN is looking for ways to get people to start using the eNaira. If you don't know much about the eNaira was launched in 2021. In October 2021, and it's supposed to be a central bank digital currency that basically works on the blockchain, right? You can compare it to cryptocurrencies, but they are quite different. A lot of things make them different. They are CBDCs, right? They are controlled by the CBN. They are issued by the CBN. So it's supposed to be like an alternative, like a new alternative to making digital transactions, but it has not really taken off like that. I don't know. Have you used eNaira before? I've not really met anyone that has used that will tell me, oh, I use eNaira for this, I use eNaira for that. And they've tried a lot of things to let people start using it, and now what they are doing now is they said they've enhanced some of the things they can do. So enhanced eNaira services, and what that means is they've added USSD, right? But the funny thing is they added USSD. They told us about USSD last year in 2022.
Was it not when did it launch? October?
I think that was August. Yes,
2022.
they told us about, and I tried the USSD code back then. It didn't work, right? They are coming out again and telling us that they are doing the USSD again in partnership with Champs Mobile. It's a super agent network, right? But then I tried the USSD code again, and it still did not work, right? They also said you can transfer. I don't even, because on the eNaira app I didn't see any option like that. So it's that you can transfer money from a eNaira to an ATM and withdraw cash. It sounds very interesting. It sounds good, but it's not working. And I think this is also part of the reasons why the eNaira is not taking off, because you tell me I can do this, I can do that, and then I try it,
Features are not getting
and it's not there.
So the prospects for eNaira when it was launched sounded great.
Yeah.
I remember we've spoken about it a number of times on this podcast. We'll link to it in the description. We've talked about it a lot, and the hopes are still there, even though the adoption is low. We kept getting the numbers of people that use it.
Yeah, CBN kept giving us numbers. I think the last they gave us was that 8 billion naira, which is around $70 million worth of transactions were made with eNaira, and they said a total of 700,000 transactions have been completed with, and it's not a public blockchain. If it was Bitcoin, for example, I can really confirm that, right? But it's Hyperledger Fabric. Hyperledger Fabric is also a blockchain, just like Bitcoin, but it's a private blockchain that only the CBN can see. So I don't know. Those numbers are suspicious.
They tell you that's what they are making.
I mean, but those numbers are really suspicious.
So I'm hoping if something like this kicks off, it will be a way for people to at least consider.
I mean, yeah.
Like, why would I consider the eNaira? I have never bought that idea.
No. Wait. Okay. So when thinking about it, it's using USSD to transfer eNaira, like you use it to transfer. Like normal naira to get something, and there are no monies in our ATM these days. So. Anyways, I'm just trying to look at the possibility of people adopting it. It coming up at the time where people are really looking for ways to spend money. Assuming it was working, actually, people might have considered it in a way. Might have.
Before anybody will consider it. So one thing, your official position can't be that you are against cryptocurrencies, and then you suddenly expect people to now trust that your own cryptocurrency backed or blockchain backed currency is reliable. It's counterintuitive for me. If you tell me you don't want your citizens to transact with cryptocurrencies, and then you launch a digital currency, because it's not about forgiving. It's just that
their stance so far. There's been no pushback against cryptocurrency so far.
So far, yes, we've not seen.
They launched the CBDC.
Also, what's even the use case for it? Can I pay for products outside Nigeria?
So, like I said, they keep telling us that there are these features. Based on what they say, you can. Yes. What's the entire value proposition of the eNaira is that as time goes on, it will make cross-border transactions within Africa very easy, right? Because it's basically just peer-to-peer, right? There's no switching company, there's no acquirer, there's no issuer. It's just direct, which makes cross-border easier. But we've not seen a lot of these things so far. The only thing that works is eNaira to eNaira. So far, eNaira to banks does not work, which is very important.
Yeah, so we're hoping that, since going by how long it takes for projects to be executed in Nigeria, we're hoping that maybe in another year or two, we'll see eNaira really being adopted.
I'm optimistic.
And from there, we'll move to Meta. Like, it's been the age of AI and machine learning and stuff. ChatGPT seems to be
they opened the floodgates.
Yes, they did. Not so many people are talking about it now. At least you can rest from some LinkedIn post of you are doing it wrong. This is how to use ChatGPT for so. But what's Meta doing? That's Facebook parent company. What are they doing with AI?
So Meta too is making their own AI moves, right? You see that now. I think a lot of big tech companies are now feeling like artificial intelligence is the way to go. It's the future. It's probably the next thing, and no one wants to be left behind, because in the tech space, you might be very big, but anything can happen to you at any moment. If you don't innovate fast enough. We've seen that happen with Yahoo and how they went down. They were the center of the internet, but now they are nowhere. So Meta too, wants to be part of that AI future, and they are also making their own AI moves, and they are doing that by launching their own large language model, right? And they said so. They are launching it in a different way. So we saw ChatGPT do their own, which was
bad.
Yeah, ChatGPT's own was chatbots where you can talk to it. Google tried to do the same thing. Didn't go well for them. It's quite unfortunate. But what Meta is doing is a little bit different, right? What they are doing is now they are opening that large language models, right? And just to make things a little bit clearer, so large language models are what these AI chatbots work on. It is what basically is their engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's for ChatGPT, it's called the GPT-3. For the one Google launched, it's called Lambda, right? So they are the ones that power these chatbots. So Meta is creating its own. So, but it's saying, okay, this our large language model, we are opening it up to people for research. Yeah, for researchers to research, know more about it, because you will find out that if you want to really understand this thing, you won't really see a lot of content around how exactly does this thing work. So now they're opening it to people to say, okay, look at it, check it out, research it, and which will probably even be better, right, than what I think is a better move, right? Because you now have a wide range of people that will be able to research what you've done, probably even make it better. You know how open source things work, right?
OpenAI didn't open up this thing to be used by other developers.
Yes, not it wasn't free. What Facebook is going to do is what Meta is going to do is going to be free, right? So, but there will be, you have to be affiliated with a particular known organization before they can give you access, right? Yeah. But what OpenAI did is not free, for researchers to like check it out and do things like that. So I think it makes sense, and I think it is because Meta has also tried to do something like that. Last year they launched something called Galactica, right, which was a large language model as well, but it failed woefully, right? So I think they learned from that, and they are doing things a little bit differently.
So the interesting
now.
thing is that looking at the competition between these big tech companies, it seems is the users that will benefit in a way. Users like myself that just use it for basic purposes, and developers too that need to build something else on top of it. So I think we are the ones that will win in a way.
Yes, I mean that's the essence of competition
paying.
in the business space. It's just once there's enough competition, users will get better products. So yeah,
that's cool. We're hoping. So it's now okay. So it's not like Meta have a name for
yes,
it's like ChatGPT or Bard.
Well, the large language model has a name. It's called Large Language Model Meta, right? But it's not as if there's not a chatbot. Those ones are like the ones you can interact with. You can't interact. It's not even for people like us. Yeah, exactly. It's like the engine that
All right, that's clear. Okay, let's move on from the techie part of things to what we can relate to in real life. So what is Jumia doing in South and East Africa? It's been a while they were in the news.
Yeah, practically in the news every week. But if you buy things from Jumia, you can now hold Jumia liable for any, let's say, defects in the product.
Oh, interesting.
So, in East and South Africa.
Okay.
So before you couldn't do that before. So if you buy anything in the terms and conditions, they put clauses there that relieves them of any liability. So you buy something, maybe you buy a laptop and the laptop is defective. You can't necessarily hold Jumia responsible for that. So it's kind of a smart move from their end, because it means that they are not held responsible for what third parties do.
Which most marketplaces do.
Yeah.
As long as they want to have a lot of users on their platform, sellers. So they just. So I think what influenced this move, if I may ask?
Okay, so the common markets for Eastern and Southern Africa, is like they are the ones behind this. They are the reason. The Competition Commission. They are the reason behind this. So kind of they launched an investigation. Started in September 2021.
Yeah. 2021.
Yes, so it was based on some clauses that they saw, and they felt these clauses are not very, let's say, conducive for the users. So they had to launch the investigation, and now after they are done, they've asked Jumia to change it, and well, Jumia has done it willingly. But yeah, this
is quite risky, or maybe it will push Jumia to do a lot of KYC before they allow third
the way I
party
see it is
their
bad.
platform.
I don't see how. So Jumia is trying to push for profitability, and now they have to do KYC
A lot
for
of it.
sellers, and it will mean either they are making serious investments in humans for that process. So it's not like you're just doing KYC now. You're also vetting the products.
Yeah, you're vetting
because
each
you can
product.
do KYC for a seller, and then they put up useless products. So now they have to put in like let's say inspection centers or something like that, in order to make sure that every product that goes onto the platform is good enough, which is going to make them hire more people. And if they hire more people, that's more people that they have. Yeah, I mean, build more technologies might be the least of your problem, because maybe one piece of software could do a lot for you, but you have to hire people. So they sell over 5 million pieces of products every year. So let's say for electronics, because those are the ones that would usually have such issues. You're not about to return a bag of rice.
Yeah.
But let's say electronics. I can't remember the exact number that they had last year, but I think they sold out to 1 million, whether phones, laptops,
Nigeria.
across all their markets. So if they have to inspect, I don't know how many people that they have.
I think it's a good thing for them.
Ow.
So I think Amazon also had a similar model before they decided to start actually vetting products, because at the end of the day, if I go on your platform and I keep buying defective products, you lose customers that way, right?
How many defective customers or defective products? Like how many products?
Back. I know how many this thing I've bought on AliExpress. I still keep going back to
how many products? Because
maybe I'm talking from my own perspective, because I did the same on Jumia. I think I made after about 4 purchases that were not good.
Okay,
I stopped.
Yeah,
I'm actually looking at it purely from Jumia's perspective as a company. If you have to invest more resources into this, it's not like it's a money-making venture. It's just going to try to improve the number of people who stay on your platform. But if you're going to put in a lot of money into this, either by way of inspection centers or hiring employees, that's more money. And this is a time when you're trying desperately to not
spend so much.
So you might probably have to up their insurance too. That can also help them. There should be an insurance cover for
that one. Still, it won't reduce spending.
Will it not?
I don't think it will. If they have to insure this product. So the thing is, if you buy the product and you return it because it's defective, they just give you a replacement. That's it. But the amount of money they've spent, I don't know how they do it. I can't remember. But I don't think they bear I don't think you returning a defective product, like you bear the cost. I think it's Jumia that bears the cost of you. So imagine if so many people return products to them, and then they have to bear those delivery costs. It's very little, but it could quickly add up and
something.
Yeah.
So I hope for Jumia that, like a big company, they would have thought this out before they bow to pressure. And if it probably works out in Southern and East Africa, probably to get to West Africa.
I hope it does.
Hopefully. So we're wishing Jumia well and happy
best.
for Flutterwave in a way.
Yeah.
Yes, you're looking like you're happy for Flutterwave.
can't say I'm happy for them, and I'm not sad for them either.
They're indifferent.
But it seems like this to the end of the storms that they've been facing since last year.
Yeah, I think 2023 has been good for them. So they've had the fraud allegations against them dismissed. They've had money laundering allegations dismissed as well. So all the allegations that were filed against them in Kenya, they've either been dismissed or dropped. So that's like good for a company that went through all they did in 2022. So that's good news for them. But what we are discussing now is they can now recover $51 million that was frozen in some of their Kenyan bank accounts. So last year when they were accused of fraud, the Asset Recovery Agency in Kenya had to hold some of those funds. So after the case was dropped on Monday, they were now able to they can now access those funds. So I don't know, but $51 million is a lot for any business. So having that back it's definitely something that they should be happy about, because that's a lot of money that they could be using for any other thing.
I hope the Central Bank of Kenya, we now start seeing Nigerian companies in good light, because it seems like a lot of backlash last year for Nigeria, either fintechs, mostly fintechs from the Central Bank of Kenya. So we're hoping this year will be better for Nigerian fintechs working in Kenya. And I did introduce your host to you today. It's Oluwanifemi. And we've had a good conversation today. We've talked about Meta, talked about Flutterwave, what's happening with Jumia in South and East Africa, and we started with CBN's eNaira and the possibility of it ever getting mainstream adoption. And thank you for joining us today. Be reminded of the newsletters that we have. The flagship newsletter, Techpoint Digest, where you get all that happens in the tech space, in the African tech space, every day, every weekday, every work weekday. You mean get Monday to Fridays in your emails, you get it. And then there is the Workaholic, where we discuss everything around labor, talent, employment, HR, everything within it under that. And we also have FinTech Today, where we discuss everything about the financial space in Africa, either tech space here and also the conventional financial space. So we'll drop a link to all those newsletters. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to that. And I want to remind us of Lagos Startup Expo, which is happening in May. If you don't know about it yet, you're snoozing. So we're going to drop a link in the description where you read everything about it, how you can attend, how you can exhibit your innovation, but how you can exhibit what you're building or what you've built, and how you can sponsor the event. Everything will be in the description, so check that out. And if you're listening to us, not watching us, if you're listening to us, it's Oluwanifemi again, and Bolu and Chimgozirim is here in the studio with me. So where can they get the podcast from, Bolu?
Oh yes, you can always find us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else you get your podcast.
Yes. I will not forget this. Fish Friday is coming. It seems like what many people look forward to these days. I don't know if it's because of the small chops or because of the
For me, it's for the small.
What did I say? I don't know if it's because of the small chops.
Why was it small chops?
Because they share small chops. Or because of the interesting things that people are building. Seriously, these things are interesting, and we invite you again. It happens on the second Friday of every month, and this month is coming up next week. Yeah, Chimgozirim, our host and convener.
Yes, it will inform us.
You get details on what day. So because of the elections, we can't be certain that it's going to hold on that day. So.
Yeah, Nigeria is Nigerian at the moment, and we now have a president elect. Let's move on. All right, thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so that you get notified every time a new podcast is released. Thank you for joining us today. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.